Hello, welcome to today's class. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to create a simple invoice for your business within 1 minute. Now, I know some of you will be asking me that as a filmmaker, why do I need to create an invoice? But before I answer that question, let me quickly remind us that I have opened up the class a bit for other business people because the processes that we do at iConsulting can be replicated for all businesses. So whether you're in the product business or the service business, the processes that I teach can be functional in your business. Okay? Now to the question, why do you need an invoice as a filmmaker? I also want to believe that you did not attend our last class, because if you did, that's the last class on taxation. You will understand why you need an invoice. But I will still explain. As a filmmaker, you need to start tracking your expenses. You need to start tracking the way your money moves. An invoice is one way to do that. You need to start keeping your books, making your books look really, really transparent. Okay, you need to start positioning your business in a way that it is serious and it's to be taken serious. I am using a phone for today's class because I want to erase the mindset that you need to sit in front of your computer to generate an invoice. I want to erase that mindset that generating invoice is a long thing. Now you know that you can generate an invoice on your phone, on the go, while you're still even talking to the client. Before you're even finishing the briefing, they're already getting your invoice, because it takes you less than 1 minute or 2 minutes max to generate an invoice for a client. Okay, so the first thing you need to do, because we're using a phone, we have to get the mobile version of the app. And the app we're going to be using today is called Zoho Invoice. So Zoho Invoice is free. Okay, of course, there is a paid version for Zoho, but if you're just creating invoices and maybe receipts with it, it is free. Though it gives you limited number of receipts, but I think it's about 500 in a year. So you're still covered. Okay, to get the Zoho Invoice, you need to download it from a Play Store if you're using an Android device, or Apple Store. I'm using an iPhone, so I'm going to go to Play Store and I'm going to type Zoho Invoice. So I already have Zoho Invoice, so I'm just going to open, but if you don't, you need to download. So I'm going to go ahead and click on open. I'll open, and then here we are. Of course, if you have an account, you sign in, but if you don't have an account, you need to sign up. So we are going to be signing up. So I click on Google iConsulting integrated at gmail.com. That's it. Then you go to next to enter your password. So my password is next. So most times it will require you to go to your Gmail and authorize it. So when that happens, don't be afraid. Just go back to your email. You will see the notification pop up. Select it's me, and then you're good to go. Now see, it's saying welcome iConsulting integrated services. To create an invoice, you just need to go to either new invoice, new customer. You need to create a customer on the app, so that once you come, you can just add the customer, because there will be other times we need to create more invoice for this customer. You don't need to keep entering their name all the time. You just need to add them. Okay. Also, you can use this app to generate quotes as well, and even generate receipts. Now, what do I mean by quotes? So quotes is different from receipt. Quotes is the first thing you send to a client before you people now agree on a price. So for instance, if I want to speak to a equipment rental company now to rent an equipment, and I tell them, they'll ask me to send them my list. When I give them my list, they're going to attach prices to those equipments and send it back to me. I cannot say, oh, this is too much, I can't afford this, right? We now do the plenty back and forth before we will now agree on the price, and then they will now create an invoice. So as a producer, or any business you're doing, you might need to send a quote. So you see all those things that people used to send on WhatsApp, those I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with sending those things on WhatsApp. I send it as well, but I'm just saying there is a more professional way to do it, and it's called a quote. And Zoho Invoice is going to give you the templates. Okay? Now, before we start creating the invoice, let me just take you through the settings. We need to do a little bit of optimization on this app just to give us what we want. So quickly, let's go to click on more. When we click on more, we will go to settings. We scroll all the way down to settings, right? So here it's going to tell us to organize our profile. Click on organizational profile, organization profile. So upload your logo, click here. So upload file is if it's on your file, if the logo is on your file. But if it's on your photos, click on photo library. The logo I want to use is on upload file, so I will click on upload file. Then I'll just look for it. This is the logo here. Okay, so organization, of course, I consult integrated services. Business location, Nigeria. You can change it if it's not Nigeria, if it's in another country. The beauty is, as you're changing it, it's going to change the currency. But since we're in Nigeria, it leaves it for you. Business type, we can say freelancing, right? Then address line. Address line 1, house 27. What am I doing? Obawede. You can do Lokogoma, Abuja. Phone number 0803533517, and that's it. So here you have your time zone, language, Nigeria. Selected Nigerian Naira because, of course, you selected Nigeria as your country. So your country of business. Then the date, you can change the format if you don't like this. I like this. So once you just see anywhere that is highlighted in blue, it means you can edit what's there and put what you want. So we are done with this. We save. Right? Currency has been selected already. It's Nigeria. So you can't change it. Currency code is NGN. Then taxes. So what taxes do you want to be deducting? I want to deduct VAT. Remember, when you're giving an invoice, you have to include VAT. So that once the person pays you, they'll have to pay you inclusive of VAT. So now add new tax. Right? So what tax do we want to be collecting? What's the tax name? Let's call it VAT. What's the rate? 7.5%. 7.5%, and then we save. Right? Then general preferences. Do you want to attach a PDF copy while emailing the invoices and quote? Yes, I want when I email the invoices, send an email telling someone I send them an invoice, they will see an attachment. So I check that button. I'm checking it. When is your first day of your work week? Sunday. Do you give discount? Do you not give discounts? You may want to leave this unless you want to. So at what level, if you give that discount, at what level do you give your discount? Is it exclusive of tax or inclusive of tax? Of course, it has to be exclusive of tax. You cannot be giving someone discount and say, oh, don't pay tax. So it's exclusive. Do you want to add in shipping charges? This is for people that are selling, maybe goods, products. Do you want to make any adjustments? Whatever. You can just check them. But since it's a service where I'm a filmmaker, I don't do any shipping. But if it's an equipment rental company, we need to check this, because when you're doing the invoice, it's going to... But let me just leave it. So maybe when we get to the invoice, you see what I'm trying to explain. So round off tax amount. Yes, at transaction level. So when you're about to... Not line item, it's transaction level when you're about to subtotal. So do you want to round up the total to the nearest whole number? So what this means is, if I check this, what this means is, if after calculating all your money is like 1.4,335,000, they will just round it off to 1.3 million. So 35 is gone. That's if you want to check it, but let's leave it. Salesperson. Enable the salesperson field in transactions. Yes, you can enable that. So selling prices of items, tax is exclusive. So they know that whatever you're selling to them is exclusive of tax. You have to include the tax at the end. If you say inclusive, that means if, for instance, for someone who's selling products, if someone is buying 5 items and it's 2,000, 3,000, if you select inclusive, it means that 2,000 naira they paid for product A includes tax. The one they paid for product B includes tax. So at the end, you wouldn't need to include your 7.5 again. But if that is not how it is, that you're going to include your tax at the end, you select tax exclusive, right? You're done, we save. So the next thing we need to do now is to now start creating the invoice. Now, we already created the address, added the contact people. The next thing is item details. This is where you now make your entry. So you see, add new line. So what this means, so if you had been creating invoices, every line you add on your invoice comes here. So let me use someone that sells business. So maybe you've already created invoice for 10 bags of rice before, or 2 gallons of groundnut oil, or 5 bags of gari. If you come here, they're all going to be listed here. And then plus this plus sign that gives you an opportunity to add another item. But because this is a new invoice, this is our first invoice ever, we don't have that. So we just need to select plus, add new line, right? Then we come here, say tap to add. Now, I'm a producer, right? So I can say producer fee, and we say add, right? Good. Then description, producer fee for the production of a feature length movie. The boy is mine. So you're going to use your discretion. Any way you want them to understand it, that is how you're going to describe it. Now, what tax are you charging them? Remember, like we said, whenever you're creating your invoice, always insist on adding your VAT. Always insist. Because when they're going to pay you, they're going to take 10% of whatever they're going to pay you as withholding tax, which is going to serve as your personal income tax. If you know, you know. If you came for the tax class, you know what I'm saying about, what I'm talking about. So rate is 2 million. 2 million. Good. So now I have it. Producer's fee 2 million, subtotal 2 million, discount, no discount, VAT, no VAT, shipping charge. Can you see shipping charge adjustment? Because I checked it there, that's why it's showing here. So if as a producer you're not charging anybody for any shipping, just uncheck it in the setting. When we're doing the setting, I had to leave it there just so you can see, right? You can see how everything shows up here. Yeah, anyway. So now we're moving. So for instance, so for instance, if I need to do shipping charge, imagine if I'm charging this person for shipping, I just need to select on that shipping. So for shipping charges, I will just add maybe I'm shipping something for them, 5,000. Am I charging them tax on shipping? No, I'm not. Then I save, right? See, that's added. Adjustment, what do you want to adjust? As according to your business, but I don't think I want to adjust anything. But let's just say, just for the sake of this, so adjustment, how much? Let's say another 5,000. Are you charging them on anything? No. Are you charging them tax on this? No. You see? So total amount payable is what? 2,160,000 naira. And that's it. Invoice date 16th of October. Terms due on receipt. When is the due date? 16th October 2025. Remember that thing I said? If you had put next 15 days, they would have put the date of the new day. See, let's see. So let's say we are doing next 15 now. See, it has moved it to, they're now going to pay on the 31st of October 2025. Now, this invoice, you can decide to change if you don't want your invoice code to look like this. So if I click on this setting icon right now, I can decide to change this to invoice/icon, which is my company, this thing. Then I can decide to say this 0000 is a lot. I want to reduce the 0. I can just say 001. So when you're done, you click on save. So you're saving this right now. It says your invoice preference have been saved, and we say okay. The next thing I want us to talk about is customer notes. So this is where you may want to enter your account payments. You can account details. You can just say kindly make payments to iConsulting Integrated. Always write your banks in full, okay? It makes you really professional. For Africa. I hope it's for Africa. I hope it's for me, I don't know. For Africa. Then terms and conditions. This is where you let them know your terms. So you can say 70% payment must be made remember what you gave them the 50. So what we have there is now 15 days. Made latest 15 days after receipt of invoice, and 30% paid after production, or after we wrap principal photography, whatever it's going to be. Okay, PDF template is standard. We already selected that. We do what? We save. Now this invoice is ready to go. So once you select OK, it brings you here. This invoice is what is ready to go. Now this is what your invoice looks like, but this is not how you're going to send it because it needs to be in a template. So now you can edit this invoice here. Maybe you look at it again. Oh, there was a mistake. You go back and check again. You do what? You save. So you can email this like this. Remember that email, you see? It already attaches it for you here. You can click here to view the invoice. It already attached the PDF for you. Remember we set it up. You can view as a PDF. Just to see if everything looks good. You see our logo is on there. The invoice is there. You know, everything looks good. Or you can download. So you can just come here. You can send it to print. You can clone it. So for instance, maybe you want to clone this to print. Maybe you want to write invoice for 3 different people at the same time. And it's the same figure, right? The same figure, the same amount, the same everything. You just need to change their name. You click on clone. But we are just going to be saving this. So we share as a PDF. And then I'm going to just save it to file. So to save it, remember, we still need to do, remember we are project administrators. We're not just dumping files. So we need to make it appropriate. So we need to create a folder. So we can say October invoices, right? October invoices, right? Then we change this to, can say Judith Audu Productions. Just so it's easy to find. Do you get what I mean? Then you save it. If you go to your file and look for that, you're going to see it. Is that clear? Yes. So let's come back to the dashboard and see what's happening. Can you see? In another class, I may get a time to teach you how to create a quote, but it's the same thing. Just so this video is not so long, I will encourage you to go and, just check this thing out, check it out, play around it, know what's more, what else can you do with it, just explore. It's always good to explore, right? Thank you very much. I'm available to answer all your questions. Okay? Bye.